Is our API really safe? Maybe not. But welcome, guys. So at Tech Festival 2025, hosted by the Bug Detective, one of the speaker, Kindsley Udoh, a software QA engineer, really broke these brilliant explanations. Using a mock API data, he demonstrated how vulnerable APIs can really be. Guys, join me as we dive into these important sections together. Don't forget to please like, share your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe. Please, thank you.
Security, because we feel that's not our job. Meanwhile, security is one of the non-functional testing stuff that we all preach about, but who is actually talking about it? Nobody. So today I'll be speaking on API security, just to let us know that as testers, as QAs, there are certain things we can do on our end, right? Out of curiosity, based on our, because we can think out of the box like testers. We're always looking for scenarios, negative scenarios, positive scenarios. So we can use that critical thinking and apply it into API. So there are certain things we can do on our end, just like I said, as testers, to figure out these security vulnerabilities, so that at the end of the day, before we sign off, at least we would have done our due diligence. And then definitely the cybersecurity experts, if your company has like a security team, they will definitely do their thorough job because that's what they are being paid to do. But I'm speaking from the angle of QA testing. We can actually do something on that. So I'll be showing us a few things. So this is going to be our, what we'll be looking at for the day. We'll be looking at this is the agenda. Why are APIs under attack? What makes APIs prime targets? We'll be looking at the OWASP top 10, but our focus is mainly going to be the first three, right? Because there are a lot of them, and we'll be looking at practical API security testing. So I'll be doing a bit of some demos instead of just talking and talking. I'll be showing us some tips, some of the techniques, some of the things we can do. So I'm sorry if you really don't know how to test APIs. If you're on this call and you haven't tested APIs before, you really don't know how to test API. This is, I don't know, I'll try as much as I can to break it down and bring in scenarios that you can relate with, but just try and follow along, right? But if you've actually tested APIs before, you're currently testing APIs as we speak, then please also pay attention so you can gain one or two things from my session. Now, there's been a lot of breaches lately, like a lot of things have been happening globally. But when you don't pay attention to these things as testers, sometimes you might not necessarily just want to, because I don't know, you just feel like it's not on you. But things are happening globally, right? A lot of things are happening globally. We've had companies that have, they've been impacted in so many ways, terrible ways, in the sense that they've had millions of their users, account takeovers, fraudulent transactions have happened on their systems, just like Duolingo has had 2.6 million records. Venmo, they've also experienced an impact of 207 million records. Instagram account takeover, Coinbase fraudulent transactions, Bumble 95 million records. All of these things are out there. So if you research, you will see them in the news. You'll see things happening. Trello too, they've also had their own fair share of breaches. So that's just to let us know that API is a very, very, very serious thing, and we need to pay attention to it. Just like I had to put this screenshot so you can get to see what's happening, right? If you know you don't want your company to be, if you don't want bloggers to pick your company and be putting them on the internet like this, writing about them, please take API testing seriously, especially security. My goal and my aim is that, my company will be putting out things like, hey, we've expanded. We are now in maybe Ghana, the US, or some other place in the world. That's the kind of news. The profits, we made so amount of profits, we've expanded, or we got new, we got new funding from several, persons. Let it be about positive stuff, not negative, because there's a way, if you don't pay attention to security, then you might wake up one morning and just go online and then you see your company, in one blog saying that something else have happened. So that's just to tell you that it's a very, very, very serious thing. We'll be looking at some of these stories. I'll be giving us some hints and sharing some of the things that happen in this company so we can get to see and understand the impact. Now, why are APIs under attack? It's a serious thing. Why are they? So you might be asking yourself, why are APIs under attack? Right? Why are APIs under attack? I thought when I finished testing the UI, the front end, I'm fine. That's because 83% of all internet traffic is API. There's an explosion right now. 83% of all internet traffic, they're API. They're all APIs. Some companies currently they were established. In fact, they've been established to just create APIs and sell those APIs. And these days, if a government entity or maybe one company A wants to communicate with another entity or another company, they can't just give you access to their data. They have to probably just create an endpoint, create an API, and say, okay, consume this stuff. You'll see what you need. So companies two systems are communicating through APIs. Companies are sending data through APIs. So it's attractive to hackers. It's attractive to people that don't have good intentions. So according to Akamai's research, 83% currently, they're all API traffic. Because of that, that's why they are the number one attack vector. And then stateofapis.com, they did a research some time ago where they asked companies, they were like, okay, how have you been prioritizing security testing of your APIs? So they did like a survey, put it out there, for companies to respond, and only 4% of these companies said that they prioritize API security in their testing. All the other guys were like, oh, we do unit testing, we do functional, we do performance, we automate, and da. As you can see on the third tab here, you can see that only 4%, that's a very, very poor and a very, very low score. At least if we're having like 90, it would have been really cool. That's just tell you that people bring in security at the end of the day. I've worked in organizations where after we finish testing, after we've done all the stuff, before we deploy, that's when they move it to security. Yes, it's fine. We can meet security at the end of the day, but bring them on board from day one. Let's start talking about security from day one. You understand? So APIs are currently undersecured. Meanwhile, 83% of this, of internet traffic is API. So that's just tell you that there is a need and there's a huge gap. And as testers, I'm not saying we have to start going, about and try to get certifications in security. I want to become a security. No. But I'll show us tips and techniques out of curiosity, how as a tester, when they give you an API or some kind of collections to work on, how can you approach it? Instead of just testing the functionality, performance, unit, integration, and all that, you can now start, writing test cases, start thinking around security. It's like I'm trying to check out that box or open that box in your brain, just to open your mind and let you know that there can be more. We can do more than just functional or unit or performance. Okay. What I've already explained, like companies right now, APIs, they are connecting to backend data, app functions, web UI, mobile apps, public APIs. Everybody's just because APIs are really fast, and that's the truth. They are fast, easily accessible. Why share data manually when you can just put an endpoint and just fire it and then it hits your DB directly? So API is such a very, very, it's very, 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 very powerful. Very, very powerful. I've been in small teams where when we wanted to build like a solution, we there were some particular endpoints that the developers were like, we're not going to build it from scratch. Let's just get from this vendor. Let's just get from that vendor. They've already developed it, especially all these email templates and all this stuff. Let's just get it from this, right to this company, and they will give us, they have the endpoints, because those companies already have their servers for it, the API servers for it, so they can manage anything that comes from their end. It's like you're giving them the responsibility of managing that aspect of your system, instead of building from scratch again. So it's a huge industry. Now the thing is, you might be wondering, can hackers actually see our APIs if we don't give it to them? Yes, they can see it, because APIs are easily discovered. They don't need to come and say, hey, hello, please, we need your endpoints. Can you share it with us? Nope. Because we build mobile apps, we build web apps on a daily basis, right? So they will come into your system like a normal user. So if you develop an app today, and then you put it out there, hey, you launch, do all the advertisement and everything, hey, we've launched, we've gone live and all that, they will definitely, the hackers, they will see it. They will download the app, sign up like a normal user, do all the authentication, everything, KYC, they will do everything, and they will leave the front end, they will leave the web app, they will leave that mobile app and go straight to the APIs. Because the thing is, hacking the web applications, like the normal interface, the normal web applications, hacking those things they can be very tiring to hackers sometimes. That's why APIs are faster for them, and it's much more easier for them, and they don't really need much stuff. They have tools right now that once they run it on your system, it will spool all the endpoints, like everything. They will spool all the endpoints and start, using it and trying to see how they can manipulate. And what are they looking for? They're looking for over permissioned APIs. They're looking for APIs that return too much information. I'm going to be demonstrating all these things to us, but just know that they're looking for over permissioned APIs. They're looking for APIs that return too much information. So when you're testing, so now back to the first question that I said, are your APIs truly safe? Now, when your APIs are sending too much information, too many information, and then you know that there's something wrong, And the thing is, sometimes I don't really blame the developers, because maybe they had like a very short time to develop this particular endpoint, and they just wanted to beat deadline, or that particular developer didn't really understand the business need, and he just exposed everything, That's why as a team, we really need to be, talking and having meetings and ensuring that everybody is on the same page every time, you understand? And they also look at APIs that can access unauthorized functions and that exposes logic flaws. There are lots of logic flaws, on APIs. So the thing is, on the front end developers are very smart. They can put a lot of validations on their front end, preventing users from, really, doing some certain things. But on the back end can be extremely porous, so there might be a lot of logic flaws behind the scene, and that on a normal day, you can't do them on the UI. But through the back end, if you know how to maneuver it as a hacker, you'll be able to, break the system and, do all sorts of stuff with it. Now, like I said, you might be wondering, how are they seeing it? The thing is, it's very simple for an hacker to get these things if they really want to get it. All they need to do is go to your application, right, inspect it, and then they will check their network tab, and then this is your endpoint. And this is it. It's right there. It's not hiding. They can see it anytime, any day. So, and a lot of us that have done UI testing, we do this a lot. Sometimes when we are testing and then we find like a bug, we tend to, some developers would say, send me the call or check your network tag and send me the URL. Let me see, so we can tell if it's a backend or front end stuff. Just the way you know about this trick as a tester, also know that hackers are aware of it and they can use it to break down your system. It's not hiding, it's right there. So we'll go quickly to the practical step.
Alrighty, guys. So before we diving into the practical API security testing techniques section, I would like you to please join the next video that will be bringing that in for now. So, and please don't forget to like, share, and and explore. Please try and subscribe. Thank you so much. Enjoy. The next video will be popping up here.